Hi, folks. This is Algebra 1, IXL, and what we're going to do is I'm going to extend the finding the midpoint of 2 points. Occasionally, what they're going to ask you to do is if you know what the midpoint is in one of the others, you're going to find the missing point. And the way we do this is we go through the problem-solving steps, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Uh, by the way, I haven't even seen this. I didn't preview this one, so it's all a surprise to me. So hopefully it works out really nice. And let's take a look what we're looking for. Okay, so the midpoint of ST is 6, 4, 6, and one endpoint is 0, 3. Find the coordinates of the other point T. Now, what I tell my students is that the best thing to do every time you have a problem is, if possible, make a diagram. And a diagram in this case would probably be helpful, and you would be able to visualize and see if your point was in the right place. You would also be able to do write your formula, then substitute, simplify, and solve. I'm going to go ahead and just get a really quick, funky looking graph here for it. Let's do, so 0, 3 is right here, and 4, 6 is right there, and this is our midpoint. And most of you will probably be able to see that if I count the slope from this point on the right down to this midpoint, and then count it again, or count the rise over run, or even the other way around, I could get to my new point and probably be just fine. But once again, I'm going to go ahead and do the formula. Now, the formula for the midpoint is x1 plus x2 divided by 2 is our x. And this is the midpoint value for our x midpoint. I'm going to call it x of m. This is our x midpoint. And y1 plus y2 divided by 2 is our y midpoint. And I'm going to go ahead and substitute in the values we know, which are, we know the x1 and the y1, and we also know the midpoint values. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this for a second here. Let's just get rid of my diagram here. Okay, I'm going to write my first formula, which is I want x1, which is 0. There's my endpoint, x1, and plus x2 divided by 2 is equal to xm, which is 4. There, 4. Now this looks like a lot of work, but it's really not as bad as it looks. In this particular case, you always have to multiply by 2 in every case. So you always have to double the midpoint. So in this case, I have x2 plus 0 is equal to, in this case, I multiplied by 2 on both sides and got 8. And I'm done. So there's one of my x, that's my x value. Now my y value, my y1 is right there, that's 3, plus y2. I could have called this y2 and x2, over 2 is equal to ym, which is the y midpoint, which is 6. I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides, and I'm going to get 3 plus y2 over, this is multiplying by 2. And I now have 3 plus y2 is equal to 12. I don't know what the heck I was doing there. And I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And I'm going to get y2 is equal to 9. Now this is a long way of doing this. Oh, I actually wrote my midpoint, and on my diagram I wrote my midpoint and my point in the wrong places. But hopefully you can see that it's 8, 9. Let's go ahead and put in this one, and I'm going to go a little faster on the next one. All right, so we've got a midpoint at 3.7 and a point at 4.10. Well, one of the things we know is that, and I'm going to rearrange my formulas. I'm going to use the literal equation idea. And what I have is two formulas. I have x1 plus x2. These are my two x's that are the endpoints, divided by 2 is equal to my midpoint x. Well, what I can do is multiply both sides by 2, and that way my formula looks a little bit nicer. In other words, if I add up my two x's, I always get double the midpoint. I just multiplied it by 2. Now, this is going to be a lot easier because it's going to have one less step every single time, because I'm just going to put my midpoint in and I'm almost done already. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the y1 plus y2 over 2 equals ym. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. If you've never seen this before, this is the section I9, which is manipulating formulas. I think they call it rearranging multivariable expression or equations. 2ym. So both of these are a lot easier to deal with than working so hard. So I'm gonna go ahead and call my endpoint 410. I'm gonna call it x2, y2. Now it doesn't matter. I could have called it y1 and x1, but here we go. So x2 is 4. You can see that. And I have x1 plus 4 is equal to 2 times the midpoint x, which is 2 times 3. Well, we can see that 6 minus 4 is 2, so my x value is 2. In this other part, I've got y2, which is 10. There's the y2. And I've got y1 plus 10 is equal to 2 times the midpoint y, which is 7. And y plus 10 is equal to 14, so y1 is equal to 4. And in this one, I subtract the 4 from both sides, and I get x1 is equal to 6 minus 4 is 2. So I have 2, 4. Now there's quite a few steps here, but if you remember the formula that I used, it's a lot easier. Now, one of the things I could do is I could just double the midpoint and realize that I'm missing some value that I need. So for example, the sum of my x's, x1 plus x2, is equal to 2 times the x midpoint. And y1 plus y2 is equal to 2 times the y midpoint. And I'm going to go ahead and double my midpoint. It says that my midpoint is at 6.2. So I'm going to put it in order. This is going to be 12. And my x1 is 9, or the x2 is 9. It doesn't matter what order you put it in. The order of the points matters, but it doesn't matter whether you put x1, y1 here, or if you call it x2, y2, but the order does matter, sorry. So x1, I subtract 9 from both sides and I get 3. And in this case, y1 plus, I guess I was calling it y2, is 0, is equal to 2 times the y value. So y1 equals 4. So my point is at 3, 4. Trying to simplify it for you, but I don't want to oversimplify it. Again, the midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 over 2. This is the midpoint formula. y1 plus y2 over 2. And this is equal to the same as this is the y midpoint, or sorry, the x midpoint, and this one is the y midpoint. And when we set these equal to one another, and y1 plus y2 equals 2ym. And I'm going to go ahead and put in my endpoint 0, 5. That is x1, y1. I'm just going to go ahead and be consistent here. So I'm looking at 0 plus x2, x2 is equal to 2. Here's my xm. So x2 equals 10. And in this one, I decided to call this one y1, which is 5, plus y2 is equal to 2 times 7. And we're going to subtract 5 from the 14 and get the 9. So y2 equals 9. And these are our points 10, 9. I might do one more diagram just to make sure that it's clear what's happening. Yeah, I think I will. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a diagram just real quick here. So I'm just going to estimate where these points are at. 5, -3. I'm just going to go ahead and put the 5, and here's -5, here's -5, and here's 5. And I'm going to need a 10 for my x, so I'm going to need a 10 over here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the 5, -3, which is about here. This is the point, 5, -3. And they're telling me that that's the midpoint. This is the midpoint m. And I've got 10, -7. 10, -7 is down here. And this is one of my endpoints, and this is point R. And what I'm looking for is S. Now, point R is at 10, -7. Now, if you happen to have a graph, you could literally count up from R to M, which is 4 up, because I'm going from -7 up to -3. If you like, on the y values, there's 10. Here's my -7. And here's my -3. And we can see that I counted up 4 to get from R up to the top to where M is at. And then I'm going to count backwards 5 because I'm going from 10 to 5. So this is up 4 and back 5. For those of you who know about slope, that is up 4, back 5. Now that's the same thing as counting the other direction, which is down 4 and over 5, which would be -4 over 5. Anyway, I could go up another 4 right there to get me to 1, and I could count back another 5 and get me to 0. So this is going to be my new point. Now that's doing it physically, but I prefer, and I'm sure that a lot of you would prefer to do this physically, especially those of you who can count on your, if you have a grid graph that you can use. But I think that it's important to understand that you want to do this algebraically, because most of the time, if you're looking at decimals in this case, or fractions, you're going to have a hell of a time graphing them and seeing where they're going. Anyway, I just wanted to demonstrate that it is possible to do a physical model for this. And this point is going to be my S, isn't it? Anyway, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use my formula, x1, the sum of my x's. I usually divide by 2 and get my midpoint, but I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 2. And I'm going to go ahead and call point R x. You know what? I'm going to call it x2, y2. Remember, it has to be x and then y. So I'm going a little bit slow, but I want to make sure this is a good explanation. X2 is 10. My midpoint x is 5. And I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides to find the x1. And x1 is by itself, and it's equal to 0. And notice that this is at 0, 1 for S. I'm going to go ahead and do the y part. That's going to be y1 plus y2 is equal to ym. And I guess I called that y2, didn't I? y1 plus -7, same as -7. And ym is the -3. And what did I do wrong? Oh, I have to multiply it by 2. And now I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Times 2. Didn't put my times 2 on it. And I get y1 is equal to -6 plus 7 is 1. So we're at 0, 1. Well, all right, guys. Let's see if I can make this a little easier for you. I'm going to do a lot of the work in my head. So I want to get 12, -4. Now, the reason I doubled my midpoint is because I know that the sum of my x and my y's, I can't write up there, sorry. I'm going to write 2 times the midpoint, and it's going to be 12, -4. Now, this happens to be the same as the sum of my x's and the sum of my y's. And I can see that for point C, I need to add it to point B and get the 12, -4. So I need a 9 and a -6. This is much easier for me. Can everybody see that 3 plus 9 is 12, and 2 plus the -6 is -4? So I'm kind of simplifying all of the steps in my head a little bit, and I get 9, -6. I'm going to do this one a little bit faster even than that. The midpoint is 4, 7. So 2 times the midpoint. I'm just going to always call it 2m. It's going to be 8, 14. And remember, I need to add my x and my y together to get 8, 14. And so my point H has to be added to point G and get double my midpoint. So H has to be 7 and 6. It's because 1 plus 7 is, 1 plus 7 is 8, and 8 plus 6 is 14. And that's going to give me double the midpoint. And when I divide the 2m divided by 2, I'm going to get the midpoint, which is 4, 7. Anyway, so I am going to speed this up a little bit. So I'm going to go 7, 6, 7, 6, and I'm going to go a little faster now. So I'm going to double my midpoint is right there. Double my midpoint is -3, 6. And I need to add 5 to -8 to get -3. And I need to add 13 to -7 to get 6. So my other point is 5, 13. Now, hopefully you don't just look up the shortcut, because it's important to understand where the shortcut comes from. The midpoint is 2, 10.5, so double the midpoint is 4, 21. And I need to subtract 13. That means it's a -13 for the x. And my y is 5 and 16 makes 21. So I'm looking at -13, 16. Double my midpoint is at 21 and 39. Sorry, -39. And I need to add 16 to 5. I said 16, not 15. 16 and 5 makes 21. And -17 and -22, it looks like, huh? That gives me 39. So 16, -22. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I'm such a spaz. -20. Oh, did I add wrong? -18 doubled is, oh, look what I did. I doubled -18.5 wrong. That should have been -37. Sorry, folks. my bad. Take a look. Wow, they really go through all the steps, don't they? There they are. Yeah, I made the mistake I made was right. Oh, they do it that way too. Nice. My mistake was I called my negative 18.5 doubled. I called it, I said it was negative 39 and it's negative 37. I can't seem to multiply today. Sorry about that. But we'll make it a little bit nicer this time. I'm going to make sure I don't make a mistake this time. So double my m, 2m is 14 and 19. I know it's right now. And to get from 7 to 14, I need to add 7. And to get from 0 to 19, I need to add 19. And that will give me my coordinates. So double my midpoint. Okay, so there's my midpoint. So double my midpoint, 2m, is negative 9 and negative 23. And I need to add x. It needs to be negative 13 to give me negative 9. And negative 13 plus negative 10 gives me negative 23. This one's going to be 2m is equal to negative 13 and negative 17. And it looks like we need 4 added to our x, and we need negative 3 added to, positive 3 added to our y. Notice that if I add negative 17 plus 4, I get the negative 13. The sum of my x's have to be double the midpoint. That's just one of those cases where you're kind of using the sum of the parts is equal to the product of your average. Anyway, negative 20 plus 3 is negative 17, so 4, 3. And my midpoint, double my midpoint, is at 21, 23, and we need 20 and 10. One of the things I want to encourage you to do is to practice your integers. I'm doing very quick integer work here. Now this one was pretty obvious, but when there's negatives to deal with, you want to be really good with your integers. So I'm going to double my midpoint, which is at 21 and 20, and I need 17 to give me 21, and I need 16. Come on. There we go. All right, I want to double my midpoint. 18 doubled is 37. I won't make that mistake again. 18 for the 9. And to get to the 37, I need, looks like 18, huh? And 11 plus 7, is 18. So 19 and 18 is 37. 11 and 7 gives me 18. This is double my midpoint. So my other point is 18.7. All right, so our midpoint, double our midpoint, is 22 and 35. And we need 2, 20. All right. Oh, this one's going to be a little more challenging. I'm going to write it right here. My midpoint is 87. Sorry, double my midpoint is 87. Double my midpoint is 134. And I am going to need to add 62. Just put it in between 62. And for this one, I'm going to need 92. Looks like it's 62.92. If I didn't make any errors, I don't think I did. Occasionally, you make a silly arithmetic error like I did earlier. Okay, so 2m, I want to double my midpoint. I'm going to get 31 and 126. And to get from 4, I need 27. 27 plus 4 is 31. And to get from 91 to 126, looks like I need 35, huh? And that'll do it, 27, 35. Now, if you need to, you can go through all the steps, which is, always good. For this one, I'm going to need negative 101, and double my 48 is 96, and that's going to be double my midpoint. And if I add my x's, I'm going to get negative 101, so I need negative 96, it looks like. With negative 5 gives me negative 101, and 64 and 32 gives me 96. So negative 96 and 32. Double my midpoint is 44, negative 2. I should actually write that. And to get to 44, I need 41. 41. And to get to negative 2, I need positive 71. And I'm done. 41, 71. Like I said, integers are helpful. Okay, we're almost done. Let's see. Now it's getting a little more challenging. Some people are going to grab a calculator to double this guy. I'm not going to use a calculator for this particular one. This is almost 8. So when I double it, I get almost 16, don't I? But how much short am I? Well, I'm 10 cents short. So what's 10 cents short of $16 is $15.90. Oh, shouldn't put that other. It should be comma. Okay, and I'm going to double the 6.2, which is 12.4. Now, all I did was take double 2m, and the reason I did that is because double your midpoint is going to be the sum of your x's and the sum of your y's. And what I need to add to 4.8 to get 15.9 is 11.1. That's going to give me 15.9. And 0.2 plus 12.2 gives me 12.4. So I'm looking at 11.1 and 12.4. What? Oh, God. What did I do? Did I do something dumb? What did I do? All right, double my midpoint is 1590, 15.9. 15.9, yeah. And double my mid. Oh, what did I do? Double this is 12.4. No, it's right. They must have made an error. Okay, let's see what it is. Let's see where their mistake is. What did they say the answer was? I put 11.1 and 12. Did I put 12.4? Oh, man. What a spaz. Look what I did. I didn't write my 12.2. I wrote 12.4. I'm a spaz. Okay, I'm going to do it right this time. Arithmetic. It'll get you sometimes. All right, double my midpoint. That's going to be 172. 37 doubled 74. And I need 99 and 50. Now I'm mad at myself. I'm going to move right along here. And of course, you're probably pretty good at this point too. Hopefully, you're not going to always grab your calculator. Sometimes you're going to want to do it in your head like I do. This one's going to be negative 125 when I doubled the negative 62.5. And this one doubled is going to be 47. And to get from here to here, looks like I need negative 86. Yeah. And to get to here 18, and it looks like 29 gives me 47. These are a little tougher. Yep. Okay. Looks good. Negative 86 and 29. Hopefully I didn't do anything stupid this time. All right. Double to 66.5. I'm going to double M, double my midpoint. That's going to be 133. And 73.5 doubled is going to be 147. So 86, and I'm going to need some more. I'm going to need 47 more, and 65 to get to 147. I'm going to need 82 more. Let me just double check real quick. 47 and 86 gives me 3. Yep. And 82 gives me 147. Yep. We're getting there. All right. So now I'm going to double my midpoint. That's interesting. Huh. Well, that made it easy. 15.2. And double my midpoint. 485. Can you double that one using my little conjugate trick? You're 15 cents short of $5. So when you double it, you're going to be 30 cents short of $10. What's 30 cents short of $10? That's $9.70. And in order to get to 15.2, well, duh, I need the 7.6. And from 0.2 to get to 9.7, I need 9.5. Remember my other error, I did something dumb and put the 9.7. Anyway, it's 7.6, of course, and 9.5. And looks good. Okay, so we're going to double to 16.45. Now that's a little trickier. What I could do is I could double 16.5. That one's easy to double. That's going to give me 33. But I'm almost 33. I'm 10 cents short, so that's 32.9. And then I'm going to be 10 cents short of my $20 when I double 9.95, which is going to give me almost $20. It's going to be 19.90. And to get from here to here, I need to add from 17.8, I need to add 15.1. And to get from 15.4 to 19.9, I need to add 4.5, don't I? Okay, I believe that's correct. Let me just double check it real quick. 32.9, yep. And 19.9, it looks good. 15.1 and 4.5. I want to put in the right numbers there. Okay, getting a little more challenging as we go. 2 times the midpoint. It's almost double 8.5. Double 8.5 is 17, and I'm 10 cents short of that. So I'm at 16.9, 16.90 if you like. 10.5 doubled. If I double 10.5, I get 21, but I'm still 10 cents short, so it's 20.90. And to get from here to here, I need to add 2.2. And to get to 6.5 to 20.9, I need to add 14.4. I think these are right. Feel good. They won't if I hear the bleep that I missed it. There we go. And we're going to double our midpoint. This one is a little easier. It's 18.70, 18.7. And double the 2.3 is going to be the 4.6. This is where working with your signed numbers is really important. To get to 18.7, I need to add 8.6. to my 10.1. This is the tricky part, the negative 6.9. To get to 4.6, I'm going to have to add, it looks like maybe, wow, what is it, 10.7? Let me just double check here. Maybe 11.7. Hang on. I'm just going to try 11.7, see if that looks right. And I believe it is. That is going to be, no, God, 11.5, huh? Try again. Now I got it. So 11.5 minus 6.9 should give me my 4.6. And it does. There it is. I don't know how I kept messing that up. 8.6 and 11.5. I feel like I've been on this for a long time. Let's see if we can't finish it up. Double my midpoint is 10.8. And double the 13.85, that's going to be 27.7. And in order, I'm just going to double check it real quick. 26 and $1.70, yeah. So I use money for these. 8.4, I need to add 2.4. And the 14.1, I need to add 13.6. And it's looking good, 27.7, yep. 0.4 and 13.6. Seems kind of lengthy. I don't know. Seems like a lot of work to do. But I guess if your teacher gives you this, then I guess they know what they're doing, huh? So this one is 21.1 or $21.10. That's how I did it. I just doubled the 1055. What I really did was I doubled the 1050 in my head. And when you do that, you get your $21. The problem is that I had an extra 10 cents that I had to add on because I had the fives right there. So I added on the extra 10 cents at the end. 12.4 doubled is 24.8. And in order to get from 10.3 to 21.1, it looks like I need 10.8, it looks like. And to get from 10.7 to 24.8, I need 14.1. And a couple more, almost done. Okay, we're gonna double this guy. Can you double it? I hope you'll practice a little bit. It's not that bad. Basically what I do is I double 5.45 in my head, and then I'm gonna tack on the negative at the end because I don't wanna be just thinking negatives and positives and all that while I'm doing the addition. So when I double this, it's gonna be 1090 and it's gonna be a negative. Now, normally I wouldn't write it down, but I just want to show you. Now I'm going to double the negative 9.45, which is going to be negative 18.9. And to get from negative 14.8 to negative 10.9, I have to add a positive, don't I? And that's going to be 5.9, I believe. Wow, they made that one kind of tough. 5.9 gives me, oh, sorry, 3.9, huh? Let's see. Because I'm working with conjugates, it seems like I make weird errors, but it's because of the adding and subtracting that I'm doing. 3.9 will get me to negative 10.9, yep. And now I need more negatives, so I'm going to need negative 2.1, don't I? It looks like it's good. I'm just going to double check this real quick. That's going to be 3. I'm going to take away the 4 and add the 0.1. Yep. Really easy to make little arithmetic errors on these. And, you could use a calculator, I suppose. I like a little more of a challenge. And it looks like we got maybe one more, maybe two. Okay, so 2 times the midpoint is going to be 24, and 425 gives me 850, dummy, 850. And to get to 12.3, I need 11.7. And 0.6, I need 7.9. And to get to 8.5. That looks good. All right. Oh, no. There, I did the same mistake I made before. 7.9 was the point I need to get to the midpoint, isn't it? Looks good. And we do have one final one. Shall I work it out the long way? No, I just not feeling it today. So 2m. I'm going to double my m. That's going to be 31, but no, it's going to be 32, but it's going to be 10 cents short. So I've got 31.95, 90, 31.9. I'm 10 cents short. I doubled the $16, which gave me $32, and I took the 10 cents away. So I got 31.90. To double my negative 2.2, hopefully you know that's negative 4.4. And in order to get to 31.9, I need 19.2 for the x's. And to get from negative 5.2 to negative 4.4, it looks like I need a positive, looks like 8, huh? 0.8. Just double check real quick. Looks 4.4, looks good. And 19.2. I'm double checking today. I don't want to make a silly error right at the end. Looks okay. 19.2 plus 12.7 gives me 31.9. Yes, it does. And negative 5.2 plus 0.8 gives me negative 4.4. Got to make sure I put in the right ones. Should I call it 0.8? Might as well. And it looks like we're done. Hopefully I didn't oversimplify it too much for you. And I hope you guys can get to 100%. It was a little bit challenging. It was a really good one. I enjoyed it. So hope you will try it, and I'll see you back. Bye.